The convex.
Convex, right? Because it would be hard to mow
Your scapula.
your scap. Okay. So we're stabilizing the scap.
Mm-hmm. And that's
We're mobbing
concave.
the convex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we need a limitation. What's your limitation? Your limitation is abduction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So abduction is coming up this way, right?
Yep. Away from the body.
Okay. So if we're mobbing the convex, which direction are we mobbing?
Is that the same?
We're gonna move the opposite.
Oh,
And
opposite.
In and down. So we move
Because you're
out.
stabilizing the concave, mobbing the convex, so,
So we're
you go
gonna go
opposite.
Down.
So
Because abduction is away from the body, so now we're going to be bringing it back into the body, so downwards.
It's not necessarily bringing it back into the body. Okay, so if you look at the joint, so we looked at the wrist, right? And we saw that with extension, what happens is the wrist comes forward, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we're mobbing. We're trying to get that motion that doesn't naturally occur. And it's the same thing for the shoulder. With abduction, the head of the ball
Mm-hmm.
moves down with abduction. So when you abduct your shoulder, this is stuck in there, but when you abduct your shoulder, the ball goes down, right?
Yeah.
To allow you to get that abduction. So if I'm limited in abduction, that means that the ball of the head, it doesn't move down.
Mm-hmm.
So really, you're trying to just pull it down so you can get that abduction. That's all joint mobs is. It's trying to get that motion that's lacking. So
So are we doing right over here, or are we moving the humerus?
we're pulling the humerus down,
Got it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing for let's do external rotation. When you externally rotate your shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
This comes forward,
Yeah.
right? So the mob that you're going to do is this way, right? Because you're
Right.
trying to get that motion to go this way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all joint mobs is. If you can, if that's all you remember, you'll be fine. If you remember, well, if I'm going into abduction, the head
drops down.
of my humerus goes down when I go into abduction. I need to help them go down,
Okay.
right? I need to help them get
So
that
then
motion.
you say you're mobbing it posterior or inferior?
No, inferior.
Inferior. Okay.
Right? So that's why this down is going to be different standing as opposed to lying down, right? Because down right now is inferior. Down, when they're lying down, is posterior.
Do you want me to demonstrate so you can watch, because this is what you want?
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
Tiffany goes.
So if her limitation is abduction,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which direction do we want to mob?
Down.
Inferior.
Inferior.
Right? So we want to mob it inferior, right? So this was the whole thing where Nate was stabilizing the shoulder, right? You
Okay.
want to stabilize as close to the joint as possible.
This is where you have to be careful because it's their shoulder and you can
Right.
dislocate their shoulder.
And then all you want to do with this is just rotate your body
And this is for abduction.
for abduction.
And what else? Inferior is for what?
Inferiorly, so with inferior shoulder flexion, right? When you do shoulder flexion, the ball of the humerus goes which direction? Down and what else?
Down and inferior?
Posterior.
You're right. So inferior, posterior.
Oh.
So when you go into flexion, the head of your humerus
Is no
goes posterior or posterior inferior,
Inferior.
right? So this mode would work for someone with limited shoulder flexion as well,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
So the position that you have her right now, this is for abduction and flexion?
yes,
Opposite limitation. Okay.
yeah. Okay, so relax for me. There you go. So you're gonna grip. So you don't want to grip here because it's going to be you're gonna be distracting. A lot of your energy is gonna be lost at the elbow.
Yeah.
So you grip above the elbow. You
Have them hold on to your side?
No, you want them to relax.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because if they do this, their
Adding more
shoulder,
pressure.
you're not going to be able to
Mm-mm.
drop
It'll
the
be tight.
shoulder inferior,
Okay.
right? So you have to have them relax. So they relax. So I squeeze her. So she doesn't have to hold her arm. I squeeze it with my elbow,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she can relax, right? So her arm is relaxed. They feel supported. They don't feel like they have to hold
Because
their
you're
arm up.
squeezing.
Right.
There it is.
So then you're going to stabilize at the joint, and all you're going to do is just rotate, right?
Okay.
That's all you're doing. And you can do this all day, but your biceps are gonna get tired.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
if you just rotate your body, that's easier. Okay.
And that's for limited adduction and flexion?
Limited abduction
and
and flexion.
Okay.
The other component for flexion is what? So the head of the humerus goes inferior and what else?
Anterior?
Posterior.
Oh, posteriorly.
Right? So in order to help with flexion, you would have to do this one as well as the posterior move.
Got it.
Okay?
So if they had limited adduction and extension,
Limited adduction,
mm-hmm.
adduction.
Is that possible? Yeah, like bring it.
No.
You can't.
Well, I mean, we couldn't do range of motion and goniometry, right? For
Yeah.
adduction.
That's right.
Right. So I don't know of any cases where someone is like stuck out here and they can't
Yeah.
come down.
No, yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
Can we
but
do the posterior one?
posterior mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Nate did